You might be considering to start a business on the side while still working on a full-time job. In today's video, we will be covering some aspects of how to launch your business on a tight schedule. Striving to start a business has become one of the most desirable goals of our generation, not only because we seek freedom and we seek a lifestyle, but also because it has never been easier to successfully become your own boss. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Moraima and this is a space designated to help you learn, grow, and transform into the success you are meant to be. So consider joining our community and subscribing so you can be informed of future videos, free trainings, and giveaways. Step one is get clear on what should be the ultimate goal. The bigger, the better. Because once you know exactly what you want, you can then elaborate on what are going to be the stepping stones to get you there. You see, most of the time to achieve a very large goal, all you need is to work backwards, knowing exactly what's going to be the biggest goal and then elaborating on smaller goals that are going to be your stepping stones to actually get you to the ultimate biggest goal. You don't start from zero and then become the next Oprah. It doesn't really work that way. So you're going to have different goals in different areas that you're going to take your business, and it will eventually evolve and transform into what's going to be the final product. An important thing to understand are all the challenges that you're going to face. Get ready both mentally and with your friends and family. What does that really mean? Well, really understanding that you are going to need a few things in order for you to be very successful, so that we have to be aware what type of adversities will come your way, and preparing for it will make all of the difference. You see, sometimes we know that things are going to be a little bit hard, but if you're very clear on not necessarily the type of challenges that you're going to face, because you don't know what they're going to be, but the fact that you are going to face challenges, it will set you up for success, because you're going to be mentally ready on the fact that you are going to have to make sacrifices. There are going to be different obstacles that you're going to have to face and different sacrifices that you're going to have to make. And they're not necessarily going to be the most comfortable ones, because unfortunately, we only have 24 hours in a day, and the time that you are going to need to allocate in order for you to build a business will probably come from the times that you spend with loved ones, from the times that you spend having fun, from the times that you spend relaxing or just doing nothing. Fully being aware of the fact that you are going to have challenges and sacrifices to make will prepare you mentally so that you don't give up when times are tough. Before we go any further, let's talk about time management. But let's find out exactly how much time do we have. A week has 7 days or 168 hours. But what does that really mean in order for us to build a business? Well, it means that we will have an average of about 28 hours of free time in order for us to build a business. Now, these numbers may not seem very accurate, and you're probably thinking or looking at me like, wow, Moraima, are you crazy? An additional 28 hours is what I need in order to be able to build a business. But like we mentioned before, we only have 24 hours in a day and 7 days in 1 week. Or as we just mentioned, 168 hours. Therefore, that additional 28 hours is the only thing that we can count on. And the way I have calculated that is about 8 to 9 hours of work time, including a commute, about 8 hours of sleeping time, and an additional 5 hours left over during the day in order to take care of eating, dinner with the family, taking care of the kids, and additional free time that we usually tend to watch TV. Now, in the weekend time, I allocated that time a little bit different. I took the 9 hours or 8 hours that we spend working, and I added it to the 5 hours that we initially had during Monday to Friday. That means that we are left with a little bit more time, calculating and averaging about 28 hours a week. This will be sacrifice number one, your time. And if your time is your most important asset, in order to gain more time, we must rearrange our lives and schedule the most important things that we need to do at the beginning of the day, our work hour. Now, when this time comes, it's going to be important for you to have the talk. And what do I mean about the talk? Well, the talk that you need to have with your friends and family, your spouse, and let them know that you are going to try to achieve a goal. Just as if you would be signing up for school, they will need to know that you are going to go ahead and sign up for a course in university or something like that. And for a period of time, in order for you to achieve a greater goal, your lifestyle and your time with them is going to have to be limited. Preparation is going to be key. The time that you're going to allocate to the family members and the time that you're going to allocate for basic things such as cooking, cleaning, doing the basic chores is going to have to be very strict. The same way a fitness professional meal preps in order not to waste any time in the kitchen when they could potentially be working out instead and not eating junk food outside, the same way you are going to prepare your week and your schedule in order for you to maximize and squeeze out as many hours as you can out of the week in order for you to invest in your business. The second important thing that I want to talk about is finances. Depending on your current financial situation and how big this dream of yours is, you will need some money in order to fund different aspects of this endeavor. Ideally, you would have had some savings already dedicated for this goal. Please do not use your personal savings. If you don't have any savings just yet, just start with something small, but please start today. I would like to recommend making a list of things that are not a necessity so that you can start practicing a more minimalistic lifestyle in order to increase your additional cash flow. This will not be very easy, but it's very worth it and it's necessary. Things like cable subscriptions, eating out, shopping, especially ladies, you know exactly what I'm talking about, that unnecessary shopping. We go to TJ Maxx here or Target there, and before you know it, $50, $60, $70, even $150 are out. The unplanned purchases are killer. Other places that we often spend money unnecessarily is getting your car washed when you can do it yourself, eating out, and definitely hosting holidays at our place. That means that you're gonna have to spend so much money by being able to host everybody, and that is money that can go towards your dream. Remember, this is only temporary. Maybe changing to a less expensive car, or even if you live in a major city with good public transportation, consider that. I know at this point maybe you're feeling a little overwhelmed and borderline freaking out about everything that I'm talking about, but trust me, it will be worth it. Remember that the more time and money you have to put into your business, the easier and smoother the ride would be. So let's take a deep breath and just keep focused on the big goal. Visualize yourself being there, arriving at the final destination. And every time you feel overwhelmed and things are challenging, go back to that visualization. It's definitely going to help you stay focused and not give up. Remember to never stop being a student. Starting a new endeavor like this may require for you to learn some new skills or polish your current skills. So don't stop your education on a daily basis. Read every day, practice your craft every day. At this point, you may be thinking, what about work-life balance? Well, the truth is that doesn't really exist. Just take a look at your schedule, for instance. Do you really have work-life balance right now? Do you work the same amount of time that you have fun, the same amount of time that you sleep? Probably not. Be careful how much you share. How much you share is extremely important. Yes, do talk about with your friends and family and your closest circle of influence of your ideas and the goals that you are trying to pursue. This will give you a little accountability, but don't bring it up all the time. Because you see, for people that are not necessarily in the race, to them, time doesn't pass in the same way. You're gonna go through ups and downs and challenges that you need to adjust along the way. And if you talk about it all the time, they will probably be asking too often, what's your progress? What have you achieved? And that leads to the potential, well, should you really continue doing this? And unsolicited advice that you may not need while going for your dreams. You see, the problem with that is that by sharing too much, too often, they don't really understand how long certain things take. The entrepreneurial timeline will always look a little bit different to those who are in the actual rat race versus those who are just looking from the outside in. And indirectly, this may put some more negative thoughts within your mind, making you feel like you are failing and it's not worth it to continue. Next step I want to talk about is self-care. Out of the 28 hours of your business, you must include some time for effective and productive self-care, such as good nutrition, maybe yoga, meditation, exercise, dance, good showers or bath, allowing yourself to just slow down once in a while and focus on something else. Now, you don't have to do this daily, but ideally you would want to do this weekly, at least once a week. Something to look forward to that has nothing to do with the business at hand. All of these things will ensure that your body and mind are in top shape to handle all of the things that we just spoke about. Next up, I would like to talk to you about the 3S approach. Study your industry and pay close attention to the systems, strategies, and supplies that you will need in order to get started. So calendar block your time effectively and get started, get working, researching, and getting everything that you need and put it in place. Now, what about confidence? That's important. In order for you to be able to feel like an entrepreneur or not to feel like an imposter when you're starting, confidence is extremely important. So in the meantime, consider using a few friends and family and offer your services or products for free, depending on what type of business you're going, whether it's service-based or product-based. To start getting a little bit of confidence on how to deliver your product, how to present your product, and maybe even getting a few testimonies. And finally, tip number 8, maintaining your positivity in check. Remember that this is a hard journey. To be in business for yourself will take discipline, a positive and almost dreamer mindset. And understand that your journey will be full of challenges. This will require to go back to the drawing board often, but the fulfillment of achieving your dreams and your goals will make it all worth it. So don't give up on your dreams, stay focused, continue hustling hard, get down and get clear. And I would like to suggest a recent video that we did on clarity and structure that will allow you to utilize all those times in the most effective way. I will go ahead and put a link over there and in the description down below. Well, that is all for today. Thank you so much for spending some time with me, and let me know in the comments below if you have recently started a business or are thinking about starting a business. I would love to know and hopefully answer some of your questions and maybe even create some content in the future in order to help you out with that particular topic. Please don't forget to subscribe and join our family. Ring the bell, and don't forget that we are here on a weekly basis to help you learn, grow, and transform into the success you are meant to be. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.